Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever wondered about the hidden giants of the global market? Those crucial components that might sort of operate behind the scenes but actually drive massive economic activity? Today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly one of those, the isoleucine market. And our insights today are based on this really comprehensive report, the Isoleucine Market, Global and Regional Outlook to 2033, from Cognitive Market Research.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually how a single amino acid market can reveal so much about, well, global economic shifts and these very specialized industry demands. For anyone maybe not familiar, isoleucine is it's an essential amino acid. You find it mainly in nutritional supplements for athletes, in animal feed to boost growth, and also in some specialized medical foods.
Right, so it's market health tells us about trends in consumer health, farming, even pharma development.
Exactly. We're talking about a market worth hundreds of millions of dollars with some
Mhm.
pretty significant growth trajectories. It offers this unique lens, into the world economy.
Okay, so our mission today really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from this report for you, give you that shortcut to being truly well-informed about isoleucine market trends, regional growth, and maybe some surprising insights too. Ready? So let's start with the big picture then. How large is this global isoleucine market, and how fast is it expanding?
Okay, globally, the market brought in just over $200 million in sales revenue. That was back in 2021.
200 million, okay.
Yeah. And that number is projected to reach about $245 million by 2025.
Yeah.
And then it's expected to really jump to nearly $355 million by 2033.
Wow, quite a leap towards the end there.
It is. And this translates to an overall compound annual growth rate,
Hmm.
the CAGR, of about 4.7% annual.
4.7%.
Which, to put that in perspective, nearly 5% consistent growth for over a decade, that's quite healthy for a specialized market like this.
That sounds like a strong, steady upward trend, definitely. But where are we seeing the most dynamic growth, and where is it maybe more stable? Let's begin with North America.
Right, North America.
Yeah.
So its isoleucine market was valued at around $48.5 million in 2021.
Okay.
It's expected to grow to about $56.7 million by 2025, and the projection for 2033 is nearly $78 million. The CGR there is just over 4%, so steady.
4%, still solid.
Yeah. And if we dig into the countries,
Yeah.
the United States, naturally, accounted for the lion's share, almost $38.6 million in 2021, projected to hit over $61 million by 2033. But what's interesting here is that both Canada and Mexico, those smaller markets overall, are actually projected to grow slightly faster than the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Canada's looking at about a 4.7% CAGR, while Mexico is around 4.1% or so. The U.S. is closer to 3.9%.
So maybe faster adoption or new segments opening up there.
Could be, if it suggests maybe a faster rate of adoption or perhaps expansion in newer market segments within those countries, yeah.
Interesting nuance. The
Mhm.
biggest player grows steadily, but the smaller neighbors are like outpacing it slightly. Okay, moving across the Atlantic, what does the market look like in Europe?
Europe's market,
Mm.
valued at roughly $46.6 million in 2021.
Pretty similar size to North America then initially.
Very similar, yeah. And it's anticipated to climb to nearly $77 million by 2033, growing at a solid 4.3% CAGR overall.
Mhm.
But, calling Europe a single market really masks this mosaic of growth rates.
Ah,
Okay.
so lots of variation within the continent.
Exactly. Germany, for instance, shows the strongest growth, almost 5% CAGR. It's projecting a near doubling from just under $10 million in 2021 to over $17 million by 2033, likely tied to its strong pharma and chemical sectors.
Makes sense.
Then you have countries like the UK and Spain also showing healthy growth, around 4.6, 4.7%. France is a bit lower, around 3.8%. Italy, around 3.9%. But then some regions like Russia are projected for much slower growth, closer to 2.9%.
Wow, that's quite a difference.
Yeah, it could reflect different regulatory environments, economic priorities, lots of factors impacting demand. Sweden's around 4.5%, Denmark 4%, Switzerland 3.6%, Luxembourg 3.5%. The rest of Europe collectively is around 4.3%.
It's fascinating how those economic factors create such varied growth, even within, one continent for the same product. Now, here's where you said it gets really interesting. The Asia-Pacific region, not just growing, but leading the pack. What's driving that?
Oh, absolutely. Asia Pacific is the powerhouse here.
Okay.
Its market generated over $80 million back in 2021.
80 million. So significantly larger than North America or Europe to begin with.
Exactly. And it's forecasted to hit nearly $150 million by 2033, posting an incredibly strong CAGR of over 5.3%.
5.3% overall for the region. Impressive.
Very. And China, as you might expect, holds the largest share, projected to grow from around $27 million to over $51 million. That's a robust CAGR of almost 5.5%. But the real standout here,
India.
India.
Okay.
Starting from about $8.8 million in 2021, it's projected to reach over $18.5 million by 2033. That's the strongest CAGR across all regions we looked at, a remarkable 6.38%.
6.38%. Wow, what's behind that explosive growth?
It seems fueled by a combination of things. A booming pharmaceutical sector, definitely. Increasing disposable incomes driving demand for health supplements. And a burgeoning livestock industry that relies heavily on these amino acid-enriched feeds.
Right. Makes sense. A perfect storm almost.
Kind of. And other key players like Singapore and Southeast Asia are also showing very strong growth, above 5.6%, even 5.9% for Southeast Asia. Japan solid too, 4.6%. South Korea also 4.6%. Australia a bit lower at 4.2%. Taiwan strong at 4.9%.
Those numbers for India and China and Southeast Asia, they're really eye-opening. Clearly indicates massive demand, huge opportunities in that part of the world.
Okay, let's pivot south now. Another region showing significant momentum you mentioned, South America.
Yes, South America. Its market stood at about $10.4 million in 2021, and it's projected to reach nearly $19 million by 2033, growing at a very healthy 5.09% CAGR. So faster than North America or Europe overall.
Over 5%. Okay, who are the key players there? Well, Argentina is showing particularly strong growth, over 5.6% CGRR, poised to nearly double its market value. Brazil, the largest economy, of course, contributed about $4 million in 2021, expected to reach over $7.2 million, growing at nearly 5%. And here's another interesting comparison. Peru and Chile. They started at similar market values in 2021, just under $1 million each.
Okay.
But Chile's projected to grow notably faster, a KGR of 5.3% compared to Peru's 4.9%.
Subtle differences again, maybe agriculture or health sector focus?
Could be. Hints at subtle differences in their domestic industries or maybe even evolving consumer preferences. Colombia is solid too, around 4.5%. The rest of South America collectively is also strong, about 5.3%.
Fascinating how, even with similar starting points, you see these diverging paths. Okay, rounding out our global tour, let's look at the Middle East and Africa.
Right. So the Middle East, the Isoleucine market there reached nearly $9.6 million in 2021, expected to hit over $17 million by 2033, growing at about 4.9% CGRR.
Nearly 5%, also quite strong.
Yeah. Key contributors here include Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Turkey, all showing really strong growth rates, actually above 5%. UAE is almost 5.5%, Turkey 5.3%, Saudi 5%.
Suggests rapid expansion. Health, maybe animal feed sectors again?
Seems likely, yeah. As these economies diversify, Egypt's growing to about 4.5%, Qatar around 4.7%. The rest of the Middle East a bit slower, around 4.1%. Then for Africa, the market generated about $8.3 million in 2021, forecasted to reach nearly $14.8 million by 2033. That's a 4.38% CAGR.
Okay, solid growth there as well.
It is. South Africa is a strong performer within the continent, robust growth over 5%. Nigeria also showing solid momentum over 4.6% CAGR. The rest of Africa collectively is growing a bit slower, around 3.8%. But these emerging markets definitely highlight expanding demands, driven by increasing awareness of nutritional supplements and growing agricultural needs.
So both the Middle East and Africa showcasing significant potential solid growth rates, indicating expanding demands across these really diverse developing regions. Okay. So what does this all mean for you listening in? We've taken this deep dive into the isoleucine market. We've pulled out the crucial numbers, the trends that define its path forward.
Yeah, in summary, the global isoleucine market is definitely on a steady growth path, no doubt about that. But what's most striking, I think, is how Asia-Pacific and South America are really emerging as the fastest-growing regions, often driven by specific domestic demands like we talked about in agriculture and health. Meanwhile, North America and Europe, they continue to maintain stable, significant growth rates, largely because of their established industries.
Right. And understanding these specific market movements gives us this really granular view of global economic shifts, doesn't it? It reveals where demand is intensifying, even for these seemingly niche components. It shows how, like you said, a small part of the economy can reflect much larger trends.
Exactly. Which, well, it raises an important question, doesn't it? How do the growth patterns in these highly specific markets, like isoleucine, how do they reflect or maybe even predict broader economic trends and shifts in global industry demands across these diverse regions? And maybe what other hidden markets might be telling similar predictive stories that perhaps we should be paying attention to.
Something to ponder as you navigate your own corner of the global economy. Keep that curiosity alive.